47 passengers from Chicago to Seattle derails in Montana, sending 2 cars sliding down a 30-foot embankment. That's not cool. I guess you can see 2 of them kind of tipped over there.
Yikes.
Yeah. You know, it's every time I see a train derailment now, though, I do think about when Antifa was pouring concrete on the tracks. So, and admitting to it, right? So, photos show rampant drug use in broad daylight among the homeless around Penn Station. As crime spikes 41%, streets are littered with used needles, broken glass, cracked pipes, trash, urine, and feces. That's lovely. Well, my, that's quite a dress, isn't it? New York. I know what's NUS, NYS. I don't know what that is. Oh, here we go. This is coming out in the regular news. So you know that this January 6th thing is going way, way south on them. Now, I know Revolver News and various other news sites have been pounding this, reading through the court documents regarding the Proud Boys and all these people who are charged with a crime from January 6th. And there's just no way they're going to be able to pull this off, basically. I mean, they've been doing, in my opinion, these FF events for so long that, and there are people, you know, think about like the JFK assassination sleuths who used to go to libraries. There was no internet, right? They went to libraries and courthouses and like had big gigantic stacks of stuff on a 2-wheeler, papers, and studied the stuff. There are people, I just think that no matter how much they try to cover their tracks, people have caught on to this concept and that it's just not flying anymore. Like we've taken a weapon away from them. Proud Boy FBI informant texting his handler during January 6th riot said storming Capitol was not pre-planned. So they're just saying, oh yeah, we had agents in there, but it got out of control and they tried to storm the Capitol, complicating efforts to prove conspiracy charges against the far-right group. So you can see how they're changing this. So because the handlers couldn't handle their people, it's screwing up the charges for a conspiracy. Okay, so they're kind of throwing the agents under the bus. It's so perverse. It's like hard to even like wrap your mind around it. An FBI informant said to have been among those rioting at the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol passed on real-time updates to his handler as the mob stormed the building. The informant, who is said to be a member of the far-right Proud Boys militia, was part of thousands taking part in the deadly riot. That makes me so mad. And who continued to text as FBI agent throughout the course of the day. The informant, who was a foot soldier, I just love the words they use, in the group rather than a leader, was not aware that there would be, they would attempt to break into the U.S. Capitol where lawmakers were busy certifying the results of the 2020 presidential election. The person has been identified as belonging to a chapter of the group in the Midwest. That is a rather dramatic picture they caught there. They probably had to go through several virtual rolls of film to find that. But it's compelling, though. The New York Times reports the fact the FBI was being texted in real time suggests those in law enforcement were more aware about what was happening on the ground than previously thought. Oh, do you think? How about they were orchestrating it? How about they took down the barriers and let the people into the Capitol who were respectfully walking through that statuary hall doing nothing? The Times details how the informant met with fellow Proud Boys by the Washington Monument in the morning of January 6th to hear President Donald Trump speak at the Stop the Steal rally. According to the informant, who began working with federal agents in July, and remember, we saw videos of federal agents trying to coerce people into working with them, right? And making kind of semi-threatening comments about their family members and stuff. Members of the militia are said to have debated whether to enter the Capitol before finally making their way towards the building. That's a normal statement. I mean, if the cops are opening the doors, you're thinking, should I go in or not, right? I mean, that's just, that's normal. Oh, look, they've took the F-U-C-K and they pixelated it. Because I bet that sign says F Biden. I love it. Everyone's seen these, man. Look at the color they've used. They've colorized these photos to make them appear, they're like where it's like black and white. And only certain colors have come through the filter, like the red and blue. It's actually beautiful artwork, but they've done that to bring a very dark, almost sinister tone to these photos. Almost Civil War-y looking. The informant described seeing barriers knocked over as Trump supporters entered the building, but the FBI handler did not appear to grasp that the Capitol had been breached. The informant appears to suggest that there was no plot to storm the Capitol before the riot. Such statements could create difficulties. Oh, yeah, there's going to be more than just that difficulty for federal prosecutors who were hoping to make the case rioters at the Capitol associated with the Proud Boys in advance planning to storm the building. The informant managed to gain access to the Capitol, but then escaped through a window after learning from a police officer that someone had been shot inside. Boy, they really went all out with the work on these photos. They're actually beautiful photos in a haunting way. So, you know, I look at this and I think to myself, yeah, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be scaling the wall. I mean, I suppose there's rock climbers in any crowd that go do the rock climbing at the health club or whatever, but heck no, not me. I wouldn't be up on there. That would not be happening. And the thing that no one talks about, and I wanted the answers to, is that one video, if it's real, where the guy's up on the top of this ledge holding onto the railing. I don't know if it's at this area or where, but then the cop, alleged cop, comes along in his right gear, peels the guy's fingers off the railing, and pushes him off of this ledge, apparently to his death. Some people say. Some people said his back landed on a railing below, or a bike racky railing thing below in the bushes, and cracked him in half. I have no idea if that's real or true, but the cop didn't have to peel his fingers off the railing and push him off that rail. All he had to do is pull him over the rail. The guy had like 20 million zip ties on his belt and zip tie the guy. I mean, he had no right to be on the ledge, but you didn't have to push him off and then do a little victory lap. That is some sick crap. I just don't believe I actually don't believe a cop would do that. I think they had all kinds of people in riot gear at that event. Rent-a-cops. Or people from other agencies who don't deal in that kind of riot control situation. I have no idea what was going on. Am I the only one who saw that video? Because no one talks about it. Thank you, HHS 73 girl. People are giving me cures for dizziness. Yeah, I did take the travel sickness stuff yesterday. It's better today. But I was like kind of out of it yesterday because that's like a mild sedative, really. And yeah, and then I take Mucinex. I had vertigo right after my son was born. I guess he's probably 8 months old. And he was, in the crib, and I went to get up and get him, and I like hit the floor, man. I had to crawl into the bathroom. My stomach was so upset from vertigo. I couldn't get up off the floor. So I crawled to the phone and called my mom. She came. I couldn't get the baby out of the crib. And I went to the hospital. They put me on the EKG thing on because my heart was racing. That was bad, man. I was in the emergency room for a couple hours, and they gave me basically the travel sickness medicine and Mucinex. And I had to take that for a while, and it did get better. But that's terrible for like vertigo. That's just, I mean, you can't lay down. It's like being super drunk. Your bed's just spinning, That was one of the most miserable experiences of my life. And before that, I used to take Claritin D all the time. And the emergency room doctor told me, if you take decongestants like allergy medicine all the time, it causes those crystals in your ears because the decongestant is constantly drying out your ears. So since then, I just deal with allergies unless it's a really, really bad day. But I used to feel great. I mean, Claritin D, decongestant, allergy medicine with a little bit of speed in it. I mean, how could you not feel bad on Claritin D? Really, honestly. But I'm scared to take it now. I only take it maybe once a year on a really bad day. So, right. So it's, anyway, I'll be fine. It's only mild. It's only mild this time. I'm not going to the hospital or anything. I just, if I turn my head real fast, I'm kind of like, ugh, because my one ear is clogged up. It'll clear. I'll just be walking along and it'll like pop and drain out, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's over. So it happens. It's been a really bad, I've talked to other people around here. It's been a bad allergy year here in Oklahoma because it's been super dry. We're supposed to get rain Wednesday, I think, hopefully. It's so dry, like there's huge cracks in the ground, and we do water here in our yard a lot, and still there's huge cracks in the ground. It hasn't rained for at least a month, anything of note here in this area. No, Sky Breeze, it's not the Benadryl. It's the decongestant, which is what makes Claritin D so awesome. It's the decongestant that can dry your ears out. And then when you don't have the right amount of fluid in your ear, those little crystals start tickling the little hairs in your ears. And that's when your brain is like, starts going crazy. Okay. So, well, we get the point of the story, but, I'm a visual person and, former artsy person. So I that's why I like Daily Mail. They really, truly have the best photojournalists in the world. And I really enjoy their photography. It used to be Time Life had the best photographers. So I think Daily Mail does now, honestly. And they actually put the work into doing the photo editing. They don't just copy crap out of Facebook or whatever and slap it up there and they're done. So, unfortunately, they're a left-leaning, moderate to left-leaning outlet. but one of the top 10 read in the world, the other ones being Yahoo and USA Today, is where your normies are getting their news. When they turn their computer on, that's what's on their browser. And or as you can see, Facebook is tied into these guys. And the 70% of women in the suburbs, the only news they get is what shows up in their Facebook feed. And so that's scary. You're like 70%, but it's true. And what's the number one push things there are USA Today, Yahoo, and Daily Mail. So it's almost a monopoly on what your regular, average, non-political normie friends see. The gateway pundit and them are not in the Facebook feed, so they don't even know it exists. So that's why I kind of do this show on Sunday morning, because it's not as radical on a nice, calm Sunday morning as I personally am. Plus, it's a good reminder to see what normies see. They have no clue what you're talking about. They literally don't. They're in another world. Tesla owners can now choose full self-driving software at the press of a button for the first time. Thousands could soon hit the road with the unregulated features. Boy, that sounds safe. I thought that the road had to have like sensors on it or something for these cars to work. I don't even know. Oh, Pamphlet sent me something here. We're going to go over here. Oh, sure enough, 2 leftist women arrested on charges of terrorist attack on railroad. This is from before. I was talking about how we know that these guys are putting cement on the railroad tracks. So this is not related to today's crash, but it's a reminder that this was out in Seattle. 2 people arrested on BNSF railway tracks near Bellington, Whatcom County, were charged with terrorist attack and other violence against a railroad carrier and appeared in federal court today. So these people are out there. A lot of these things that happen in the West that are like environmental kind of, it should remind you that, what was that called? ELF? Environmental something. There were some pretty hardcore environmental violent groups out in the West, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, that were burning down people's houses they thought shouldn't be there, hijacking trucks. I mean, they're like the weather underground of environmentalism. They're burning car dealerships, whole car dealerships. They are doing some bad crap, and these people we know, like we had the freeway bomber, right? The freeway bomber is partners now with Chalupa, and they went to the Ukraine and started the whole Spygate thing. So a lot of these people, and probably their children, they're all just total raving lunatics running around the West. So yeah, thanks, Pamphlet. Tesla owners can now choose full self-driving software at the press of a button. Yikes. That's like, should I press it? Should I press it? Press it. No, don't press it. Thousands could soon hit the road with the unregulated features. That just seems insane. Owners of Tesla vehicles are now able to activate full self-driving FSD software following its release early on Saturday, much to the horror of regulators who claim it'll be both unregulated and largely untested. Elon Musk said Tesla drivers would be able to request a beta version of its software starting Friday, but only those rated as good drivers by Tesla Insurance Calculator. What does that tell you right there? How can Elon Musk know if you're a good driver or not unless your car is spying on you? And then you would be able to use the system. So if Elon thinks you're a good driver, you can touch the self-driving button. Owners will need to agree to have their driving monitored. Carrot and stick, right? If you're allowed to have if you turn on so the car can spy on you, you get rewarded with you can touch the button. And only when their driver is deemed to be quote unquote good over a 7-day period. Wow, that's a lot of testing, right? Will beta access be granted? This is crazy. But the software comes all the while federal vehicle safety authorities are investigating the car maker for possible safety defects following a series of crashes into parked emergency vehicles. Wow, that's like Christine the car, right? It's like hitting the good guys. This is just like, am I even reading this? I know I'm really tired. Is this even happening? This is so crazy. New early access software update, full self-driving beta. If you don't realize, they think you're sheep when you see that full self-driving beta is available to you if you're a good little boy or girl for 5 days. I can't help you if you don't get that part of it. Then Christine the car gets turned on and crashes into safety vehicles. A disclaimer states the current enabled features require active driving supervision and do not make the vehicle autonomous. There is also a message that appears on the upgraded screen warning drivers that may do the wrong thing at the worst time. What? This is like, who would turn this on? You'd have to be a lunatic. Okay, Elon, you psycho. Tesla sparked controversy by testing the unfinished technology to 2,000 people since October on public roads, but Musk claims there has been no accidents with the beta users. FSD beta system at times can seem so good that vigilance isn't necessary, but it is. Also, any beta user who isn't super careful will get booted, Musk tweeted. I mean, they must have someone really watching these people. The beta offers features allowing vehicles to navigate and change lanes on city streets and enabling left and right turns. Tesla has said the SSB beta even warns drivers that it may do the wrong thing at the worst time. So you must always keep your hands on the wheel. People don't keep their hands on the wheel with normal driving. Early beta tests of the FSD system showed in struggling with roundabouts and left turns. Well, that's kind of important. It would also suddenly veer towards pedestrians in the street and cross double yellow lines in the center of the road directly into the path of oncoming traffic. Wow. This weekend software release is available to those who purchase a $10,000 software upgrade and those who also have a subscription from Tesla ranging from about $100 to $200 per month, although drivers will still need to pass the safety monitoring. It will see drivers scored and marked out of 100 to 100.0 to 100 criteria. Drivers will be assessed on 5 factors, including forward collision warnings per 1,000 miles, instances of hard braking, aggressive turning, unsafe following, and forced disengagements of the autopilot system. Tesla will also use a formula to calculate their score, with most drivers likely to score above 80. So this is just crazy. This is crazy. You would think the system, because their police vehicles probably do have something that you could detect them, that the last thing Tesla's cars would hit would be police vehicles, because the police vehicles already are putting a signal out that makes the lights turn red, like 2 blocks in front of them, so that emergency vehicles don't have to stop at stoplights. Yeah, that's right, Pam. Their end goal is to make human drivers illegal and computer automation, your only option. They don't want us moving around in your Tesla car. If you're a bad person, like me, for example, doing this show, they don't want me leaving within, maybe I'm on auto quarantine and they don't want me to be able to drive further than my grocery store. So I would get in my car and it would say, hello, Erin. I'm sorry, you are not able to drive there. You are not able to drive there, and you must go home now, and it'll take me back home. That's what they want. Anyone who still buys into this crap, it just mystifies me. I mean, the whole point, the whole fun of driving is actually driving and being able to go where you want to go. Even if this stuff worked, I wouldn't want to use it. I like driving. You know what I mean? It's like just something I like. And I don't like always taking the best route, okay? I don't. Sometimes I decide to take a route that's a little longer because I want to drive by something else. Or I just kind of like a road and I like going on it. And I know it takes longer, but I just want to. I mean, it's just crazy. I just literally can't understand this mindset. And I just trust the innate human survival instinct and other drivers more than I trust a computer that's going to calculate what steps to take for the better outcome, when I know that Elon Musk thinks we're a bunch of sheep. Is the car programmed to preserve itself or the people in the car? We don't know. Or how about the other people in the vehicle heading towards you? Is it to minimize damage to that vehicle or to save the passengers in the other vehicle? We don't know. Or if you're heading towards a telephone pole, will it swerve to save the telephone pole and save taxpayer dollars? I don't know. I mean, I just can't understand how stupid you are to be like, I call them tech morons. People who think if it's tech, it's got to be good. The heck are they thinking? They're tech morons. You meet these people like, oh, there's, new app, whatever, and this and that. I'm like, did you ever think about what it does? No. Yeah, what about flying cars? Yeah, but on George Jetson, to the best of my knowledge, they were driving their flying cars. Okay. So I would drive a flying car. That'd be super cool. But I wouldn't get in a flying car that drives itself. I don't even like those automated things at amusement parks. They make me nervous that I can't stop it or whatever. Yeah, Musk is a weird dude. I mean, his dad had multiple marriages, lived down in South Africa, always listed as a contractor, electrical engineer, even though not too far from him was a secret space program by ex-Nazis, right? And when you look at, and you can find pictures of their rockets, they look amazingly like SpaceX. Let me see if I think I might have a link to that. Hold on. Deep dives. Let me look through my deep dives. I know I have an Elon Musk one here. Where is it?
It's right there. There you go.
There we go. Elon Musk. Here it is. If you don't believe me, I'm telling you this is real. Atrag. I'm not sure how you say it. But here it is, Atrag. It's a German company based in Stuttgart, which was in the late 70s and the 80s. You can see, and it was propulsion rockets. And it was modular satellite delivered rockets. Okay. And you can see it was formed by German aerospace engineer Lutz Kaiser. Okay. And this was in in Africa, in the Congo. And they figured out it would be inexpensive if you had like modular rockets where, you know, you get back parts of it to reuse. So it's the same concept. It's a bunch of Germans down there. And look, it has the different stages with the multiple firing engines at the bottom. And I've looked at like more detailed pictures than that. And you got to wonder if, you know, the father is never lists where he worked. And what's he doing in South Africa anyway? So you got to wonder, you know, why did they always list the guy and then they never list where he worked? He married a bunch of young women. Then he married, I think it was a stepdaughter, right? And that's when Elon Musk got in a fight with his dad when he married his own, he got her pregnant. And he married her. And he's like, you know, a wild guy. So this stuff is very worth looking into. There's a lot of people have tried to tie Elon Musk's father to this Ostrag thing. Let's see what else I have by them. And I've read interviews like this article here. They had interviews with the Ostrag people, and you can say, oh, well, you know, just some crazy guy setting off rockets. Well, yeah, here's the interview with the guy by The Guardian. Lutz Kaiser designed a low-cost launch system. Well, this guy's not just some guy. A bunch of people from NASA went down there and working with him, including I forget his name now, Von Braus, whatever his name was, that ran NASA, went down and was working for this company. Okay. And this guy supposedly, you know, it just seems really weird to me, you know, and I can't tie this to Elon Musk. I don't know it for sure, but here they are, the Nazis, running their little space company, getting people from NASA to come work for them. This was just like this rogue system. Here he died. And here's Elon Musk, the father, okay, with the multiple wives, got his stepdaughter pregnant. You know, and this guy's a piece of work. Like very libertarian guy, you know, electrical engineer, but never, ever can you find details like of what he does at all. So was he involved in this, you know, space program or whatever? I don't know, but I was looking to see how did Elon get this tech? The guy seems like a total moron to me.
Check
everything he talks about is nuts.
Check Zoom chat.
Where'd I go? Okay. Yeah, Werner von Braun. Yeah. Sorry, it's morning and I'm dizzy. So
above that. Above that. That was Thumper.
Oh, okay. Jeffrey Epstein's set Elon Musk's brother up with a girlfriend in an effort to get close to the Tesla founder. Yeah. I'm just telling you, these people, they have their own space program. They have their own genetics programs and cloning. And all these people are part of a circle that are in, you know, just like the Nazis were in South America, allegedly continuing their weapons program in just basically Nazi Germany and South America. And they found the camps. That's not a rumor. That's reality. Okay. And our CIA knew about it. All our intelligence agencies knew about it. And all of these people were still, and in my opinion, still have another civilization operating that you don't know about, okay? And probably we're paying for. You know, I do believe all that money missing out of the space budget, who knows what bases they have and where? Who knows what they've done with all that money? And it's not just out of the defense budget, it's other budgets as well. They steal the money out of HUD and they take things that people want to help people who will fully fund it, and no one in Congress would ever not fund it because it looks so inhumane and mean. And they take that money and they siphon it off, and God knows where it goes. And yeah, so there are very weird ties with this Musk family, and they are not normal, okay? I can't accuse them of anything, but this moron, the Elon Musk, he is not a super genius, okay? I just don't believe he is. He's got a cache of tech, and I believe he has a cache of tech that they let him use. All this stuff. I just don't believe that this guy's that smart. So this is I don't know. This family's wacko too. So anyway, that was a little side train. So let's see what's on Spider here. I did a whole big Elon Musk show a while back, and I continue to put stuff in my deep dive folders as more weird things come up. But, you know, if you're down, if you're an electrical engineer contractor that never admits where you worked in South Africa, like seriously, how many places can you work when there's this massive secret space program down there with modular? The whole concept being save money with modular space systems. And then your son, this like guy who seems like to me very childlike and strange, suddenly has a modular space program. It just seems weird to me. Right, Roe Patriot, I really wonder about that too. It was given to him just like Gates and Zuck. You got to wonder. Okay. Business Insider, Taliban foot soldiers need to stop having so much fun and taking selfies. Afghanistan's, oh, you got to be kidding. Yeah, the Taliban's been busy being the Taliban. Taliban hangs bodies of alleged kidnappers in Afghan city of Herat. The bodies were hanged oh, for Christ's sake. I'm just not going to play with that right now. So I guess they're trying to have their form of justice, you know, hanging people from towers. German votes with polls showing election is too close to call. So I talked about this yesterday that, you know, it's the end of the era of Merkel, right? Because she stepped down. And so things are going to change big time in Germany going forward. And I am just like losing it today, guys. Come on. So, wow, they have big, nice political ads there. Those are huge. The race has been extremely tight, and the coalition building to follow will likely be messy, right? So they have that parliamentary thing. Polling stations open across Germany on Sunday morning with just over 60 million people eligible to vote. The Bundestag officially has 598 seats, and all of them are being contested on this occasion. The actual number of seats may vary, however, due to the country's complicated parliamentary system, which also features so-called leveling and overhang seats. That does sound complicated. The election is the first in nearly 16 years not to feature Germany's biggest political heavyweight, Chancellor Angela Merkel, who has served as chancellor since 2005. She first announced she would not seek re-election back in 2018, and her party, the Christian Democratic Union, has suffered a series of setbacks in regional elections since then. The whole migrant thing did her in. The ongoing coronavirus pandemic has further eroded support for both the center-right CDU and its Bavarian sister party, the Christian Social Union, which are often referred to jointly as the Union. The subsequent battle to represent the CDU-CSU as a candidate for chancellor was won by Armin Laschet, premier of the industrial North Rhine-Westphalia region, who only narrowly beat his Bavarian rival, Markus Söder. Laschet's campaign has suffered multiple gaffes, the worst occurring in July when he was filmed laughing while President Frank-Walter Steinmeier was delivering a speech in a town devastated by a catastrophic flooding. Yeah, that's not a good look. The incident dented Laschet's image, further contributing to the CDU-CSU's rating decline. Pre-election polls projected no clear favorite in the Bundestag race, but conclusively showed waning support for the conservative CDU-CSU alliance. In early September, the union's support hit a record low of 20%. That looks really bad to us, but they have so many parties. Far below the nearly 33% result it achieved in the 2017 election. Meanwhile, its main rival, the center-left Social Democratic Party, led by Olaf Scholz, surged to 26% support in mid-September. Right. So I just don't know enough about these parties to really have an opinion. So I wonder, when does this voting end? So of course they have to do all that coalition building and all that. Impending leftward shift. Merkel has stepped in personally in a bid to prevent this, warning Parliament earlier this month that the country may be headed for a left-wing coalition government. The Chancellor bluntly warned against this, urging voters to show more support for her embattled successor, Laschet, who she said would form a federal government that leads our country into the future with moderation. In an uncharacteristic rebuke to the SPD, her coalition partners since 2013, Merkel said citizens facing a choice between a moderate government and one that might see the SPD accept the support of Linke and the Greens. I don't know what any of this really means. You know, even when they say left wing, you really don't know what that means. I'm assuming the Greenies are these environmental people. So I don't know how long they vote. This article really doesn't say. But things will change in Germany. They burned out on her. Let's see if anything else interesting is here. This Gabby Petito, they're really keeping that in the news. They don't want people talking about election integrity, for example. So congratulations to all of you who are still making phone calls to your representatives in Washington, D.C. The Democrats are totally in free fall. I'm sure they've been in meetings all weekend because so far the Republicans are willing to close down the government rather than destroy our country. So, we have to keep on them. They have till the 30th, we hit the debt ceiling. And then they have until the 15th to come up with an actual real budget that doesn't include this maniacal craze stuff they're trying to pass. The House Budget Committee has advanced the Democrats' $3.5 trillion social spending plan as party leaders set their sights on teeing up the package for a vote in the lower chamber this week, despite brewing inter-party divisions. So part of the reason why we're winning is because the progressives are not voting with Pelosi. So the Democrat Party split is benefiting us, but they're going to get their act together, guys. And our weak-knee Republicans are either going to stand up and shut down the government or they're not. So we have to be hammering them. No continuing resolution, no spending plans, shut it down and get a real budget that's within the means of the money we have. We're not going to give them more money. We're not going to raise the limit on the credit card. We just can't do it. We can't afford all this crap. And not only that, it is so terrible because they have social stuff in there, drafting women. Really? They have social stuff in there and everything you can ever imagine. It is basically Agenda 2030 that we're voting on right now, basically. The Democrat-led committee passed the package 2017 on Saturday afternoon, piecing together the chunks of legislation approved by 13 House committees earlier this month that makes up the spending plan, an essential cornerstone of President Biden's economic, and I'm going to say social agenda as well. Rep. Scott concerns his colleagues are moving, and Democrats hope to pass the that's called reconciliation, guys. That means we can't stop them. So this is since we can't stop them, the only thing we can do is shut down the government so they don't have the money to fund this stuff. Okay, that's the only option. They are going to do reconciliation. That means they can vote it across the finish line with no input from the Republicans whatsoever. The good thing is the parliamentarian did strip the immigration piece out and said you cannot put immigration in a spending bill. That's the only major win we've had. So the parliamentarian, believe it or not, is ruling the country. She happens to be an immigration lawyer, by the way. She said that they had to strip out basically green cards and amnesty for everyone. Okay, so that happened. That's a good thing. But everything else in this bill is as poisonous as the immigration. Basically, everyone's going to become a citizen part of the bill as well. Therefore, because we can't stop reconciliation, the only thing we could do is stop providing the money. In theory, they could pass this via reconciliation, but because we don't raise the debt ceiling, it's like saying you're going to buy something and then you go to use the credit card and buy it, and the card is rejected. You don't have the money to do it. So please, I beg you, even if you've never done it before, if you don't like getting on the phone, you could go on your congresspeople, you can go on their website and fill out a form usually to do an email. So we got them against the wall if they hold. Now I know that Ted Cruz and the Rand Pauls of the world will go out and filibuster in the Senate. But the only way they can get away with that is if we keep calling, and people have been calling, melting it down, and we have to keep going. They're not stopping working. They were working on this Saturday. Okay. So I hope, I beg that you do that. You know, I've been sending emails because I work all day. I've called too, but every day I'm filling out email, the little form, and send. I mean, it's not hard to do. It's not just that you're going to change their mind. It's that they need evidence that they have to say no. In other words, they can be able to say, look, I've had, 2,000 calls today and 10,000 emails from my constituents telling me not to raise the debt ceiling. Therefore, I just can't, guys. You have to give them backup. Okay. If they have backup, then it's like they can remove themselves from being, a nice guy in Congress. They're like, look, I can't do it. My constituents won't let me. I'll lose my seat. So that's why it's really important. And especially if you're in a purple area, some of these Congress people in the Ohio, not Ohio anymore, but Pennsylvania, I can't even think of them, but New Mexico, these kind of squishy areas that could go either way. Trump country, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, any of those areas where people are super nervous about their election, you absolutely must, even if your person's a Democrat, because we have some Democrats that have defected because of you guys making so many calls and sending so many emails. There are Democrats that Pelosi's having a real hard time controlling them because they know when they vote for this, they're out. They know it. So good job, guys. So far, so good. I think we can do it. This stuff is so radical. Even a moderate Democrat is freaking out. Okay. I was really sweating it with that parliamentarian, but she put a stop to the worst of the immigration piece of it. But it's still just awful, awful stuff that none of you want. There's nothing in these bills that you want. It's Agenda 2030 is what it is. Funding it. And we can stop them, even with their reconciliation. They think they had it made. No, we can stop them. So that's kind of the homework for this week. So this will keep going till the 30th. Then hopefully our government's going to shut down on the 30th. Then they have till the 15th to put in a budget within the means, the limits of the money they have without raising the credit card limit. That's our goal. All righty. So I am about done here with our time. And so we're just waiting on Brent. So I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me this morning. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day today, whatever you do. And so I see
Well,
Brent.
thank you.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
I'm here. Now, I'm going to see if I can pronounce your name correctly. I've been told by people smarter than me, if you don't know how to pronounce somebody's name, say it loudly. So I'm going to say it loudly and you tell me if it's right. Is it Erin?
Erin, yes.
Oh, good.